In a small, mist-covered village nestled deep within a forgotten forest, there lived a man named Torbjorn. His name echoed through the region like the sound of an axe splitting wood, commanding respect and admiration. His hair, a cascade of fiery red curls, was legendary, but it was his beard that brought him even more renown. Full, rich, and the deepest red imaginable, it grew in such abundance that it seemed almost otherworldly. People marveled at its glow, the way it curled effortlessly, framing his rugged face like the mane of an ancient Viking warrior. He had been raised as a lumberjack, a man of the woods. His cabin, tucked away in the shadow of towering pines, stood as a testament to his craftsmanship, a solid structure of timber, stone, and earth. It was simple yet warm, with a crackling fire that filled the air with the scent of pine, earth, and something else, something faintly sweet, like wild raspberries. The villagers loved Torbjorn. Strong, handsome, and with the presence of a king, he had been the one they turned to in times of need. He could swing an axe like no other, felling trees as easily as a child picks flowers. But there was more to him than just strength. His deep laughter could be heard during town festivals, and he often helped the elderly with their woodpiles before the onset of winter. But for all his warmth, there was a shadow over his life, a sorrow that haunted him in the quiet moments. 8 years ago, his wife, Ira, had vanished. Ira had been just as striking as her husband. Her hair was red, long and flowing like autumn leaves in the wind, and her presence had been ethereal, as though she were a forest sprite come to life. She was known to wander the woods, gathering berries, mushrooms, and wild herbs, always returning with a basket full of nature's bounty and a smile on her lips. But one cold, misty morning, as she ventured into the forest to collect raspberries, she vanished without a trace. The entire village had searched for her, calling her name, combing through the thick underbrush, peering into caves, and even dragging the river that ran beside the woods. Torbjorn himself had led the search, his voice raw from shouting, his heart torn to shreds with each fruitless day. She was never found. As time passed, Torbjorn became even more isolated. His once infectious laughter grew quieter, but his beard, oddly, seemed to flourish. The villagers noticed it, how it seemed to glow with life, curling and growing thicker and more resplendent each year. His sorrow only seemed to fuel its beauty. When he entered beard competitions in neighboring villages, he won every time, his beard outshining the best of them. Men envied him, women admired him, and all were entranced by its unique scent, a sweet, earthy fragrance of raspberries mixed with the deep musk of the forest. The villagers would ask, but Torbjorn never revealed his secret. He smiled softly, touched his magnificent beard, and said, "It's a gift of the woods." Many assumed it was a secret concoction, perhaps a blend of herbs and oils he found while lumbering in the forest. But no one could ever coax the recipe from him. His cottage, hidden beneath the shadows of towering pines, was where he made his beard butter. The villagers believed this mysterious balm was the source of his beard's magic. But none ever saw the inside of his workshop where he brewed his coveted elixir. The truth, however, was far darker than anyone could have imagined. One stormy night, as the wind howled through the trees, a curious villager named Greta decided to find out for herself what made Torbjorn's beard so mesmerizing. She had always suspected there was something strange about his cottage and the way he guarded his beard butter so closely. As the storm raged, Greta snuck into the woods, following the narrow path that led to his secluded cabin. The wind whipped through the branches, and the forest seemed alive with whispers, but she pressed on, determination driving her. When she arrived, the windows of Torbjorn's cottage flickered with the light of a fire. She crept around to the back, where a small, barred window allowed her a glimpse inside. What she saw made her blood run cold. In the dim light of the fire, Torbjorn stood over a cauldron, stirring a thick, oily mixture. The scent of raspberries filled the room, but there was something else in the air, something metallic. Her eyes scanned the room, and there, hanging from a hook on the wall, was something that froze her in place, a woman's dress, covered in dust and stained dark at the hem. It was Ira's dress, the one she had worn the day she disappeared. Greta's heart pounded in her chest as she watched Torbjorn take a small glass jar and scoop the mixture from the cauldron into it. He held it up to the light, inspecting the deep red oil. Then, with a chilling calm, he whispered, "You'll always be with me, my love." Her hand flew to her mouth as she realized the horrifying truth. Ira hadn't vanished into thin air. Torbjorn had killed her. Her blood and body had been rendered into the very balm that made his beard so magnificent. It was Ira's essence that gave his beard its otherworldly beauty, her spirit woven into every strand. Greta fled into the night, heart racing, branches tearing at her clothes as she ran back to the village. But no one would believe her. After all, who could imagine that the man they adored, the man who had helped search for his beloved wife, could be the very one who took her life? But Greta knew. And now, every time she passed Torbjorn in the village, the scent of raspberries made her stomach turn, and she could see it in his eyes, the darkness that lay beneath his perfect beard. Written by Squirrel Sandwich.